to end the debate, pal?
I sure am, pal. Punk, Danielson. I'm excited for this. We've done now about probably a half dozen ending the debates.
Yeah.
We've done some good ones, pal. We did the infamous Shield and Bloodline one, which got decided because you came up with a supermarket test category, which is subjective.
No,
Ones like that.
that's absolutely correct, pal. The supermarkets in Saudi Arabia determined that debate. They swung the debate, pal.
I'm glad our commenters called that out. Like we had like 3 comments being like, "Bro, Kevin's just taken this upon himself and decided this whole debate
Yep.
with the supermarket." Anyway,
Exactly.
so there
Yep.
was that. This one, Punk, Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson. I'm excited, pal. We've got our group of 9 categories. I think this should get heated. I can't wait, pal. The first category, as we'll get to in a
Hold
moment,
on,
is a bit
hold
of a,
on. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm gonna
the
cut you
first
off.
category is a bit of a gimme category for Bryan, but we'll get to that. What do you want
Yeah,
to
I
say,
just
pal?
want to say like overall discussion. Just do an overall
Yeah,
discussion about the two guys
yeah,
for a moment. So the one obvious thing, the glaring thing that I think when anytime you're talking about Punk from an all time great perspective is oh, but he took 10 years off, whatever it was. He was gone for 7 years before he came back to AEW. The people who don't know what AEW is, he took 10 years off. People that have never seen AEW, never heard of it. CM
yeah.
Punk returned to wrestling at Survivor Series like 7 months ago, 8 months ago. So for some people, he took 10 years off. For people that know what AEW is, he took 7 years off. That's the thing everybody's gonna point out. You know, Bryan, what he took 3 years off, right? 3 year with the neck injury. He was gone from 2016, 17, and he was back by 18, 2015, 16, 17. So yeah, he was gone for like 2.5 years when you put it all together, roughly.
Yeah.
And I mean, they both have just very big parallels in the way they got to WWE. They were both like indie darlings. Punk was kind of like the first indie darling. I think a lot of people would agree with. He was the first guy that was like from Ring of Honor getting buzz, and in other places was like, oh, you have to see him. He's just the best out. Like he's better than anything in WWE. And then it was kind of the same with Bryan Danielson. Like this guy is the best technical wrestler. He's so good. All this. And they both went to WWE. They both went to the big show, and they both became world champions. They both became cornerstones of the PG era. And you can't talk about the PG era without talking about either one of these guys. You know, Bryan had the home run at WrestleMania 30, which you could argue is a bigger moment than almost anything Punk has done. The biggest moment, I mean, the biggest moment between the two is probably the pipe bomb between the two combined, but the WrestleMania 30 moment is right up there. So there's a lot of parallels with these guys. They're very similar. I think it makes for a fun debate. I think we both had them in the top like 25, top 28 range. I know they were both in our top 30 when we did
Definitely
our top
top
50 of all
30. I
time.
remember there was drama with my list because I had a couple of, I had a couple of people above Punk, which was like, oh my god, how
Yeah,
dare you?
yeah,
But nonetheless, yeah, realistically, they're both around the same range all time. So
yeah. And I think we both had Bryan above Punk, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
Which I think, just to say this off the top, I think if we had done this prior to CM Punk returning to WWE, I think we both would have Bryan over Punk, which we did at the time when we did that top 50 list. Punk was not in WWE yet. So now that he's back and he's, we'll get to it. But yeah, now that he's back, things have changed, pal. Go ahead.
I want to crack into these categories, pal. Okay. Category 1, and as I said, this is the category of all the 9 for Bryan Danielson. The first category is matches. All right. Now, it's the sort of one where Bryan Danielson has awards named after him for his great quality wrestling, his ability to put on fantastic matches. He's a proven in-ring, bell-to-bell magician. But when Bryan Danielson officially retires, I mean, yes, he's doing a bit of a farewell-y sort of tour. He's winding down to the end. But once he's officially done, they'll be like, yep, he was one of the greatest couple of all time in the ring. I don't think there's much of a debate there. When you're going to look back on wrestling in last millennium, pal, when you look back on wrestling, you'll go, okay, who are the best in-ring wrestlers? Bryan Danielson, Shawn Michaels, pal, Kurt Angle, and you'll go down Bret Hart, all that. You'll go down the list, what have you. It's a separate debate, but Bryan's one of the absolute all-time greats in that regard, and his matches are a testament to that over the course of 20-odd years, consistently fantastic matches. Punk's had some great matches himself. Once again, Punk and Bryan are similar in that regard. The Punk isn't. He's just a rung below Bryan. I think like Punk's matches are very good. His match catalog is very good, but it's not Bryan Danielson, almost objectively speaking. So that's my take, pal. I give this to Bryan. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, if we were doing this on like a system out of 10, Bryan is a 10 out of 10 for his in-ring. And Punk is like an 8.5. You know? Punk is still very good in the ring. Maybe like an 8, however you want to look at it. Is Punk that, I don't know. Maybe not that high. Maybe I'm speaking a little bit. I'd say Punk's more like a 7. But is Punk a technician? Not really, no. But Punk does have some really good matches. He does have the Money in the Bank 2011, the first 5-star match in WWE for like 20 years, whatever it was. And he has the match with Taker at WrestleMania. He's had great matches in AEW. He's had classics with Samoa Joe and Ring of Honor that a lot of people point to that are like, wow, those are some of the greatest matches of all time. Punk is no slouch in this category either. But with all that being said, Daniel Bryan is just on another level. Bryan Danielson, I should say. And he had one of the best matches with MJF last year. One of the best matches we've seen in the 2020s, bro. That match, that I Quit match, is on a short list of the best matches of the 2020s with MJF.
The Iron Man match, yeah.
Iron Man, yeah. What did I say? I Quit, yeah, Iron Man. Yeah. So, and then on top of that, I mean, the guy, bro, like you said, he has awards named after him. This is just Bryan Danielson's award. He could get a good match out of anybody. He's that kind of guy.
Pretty much. Put this guy in a ring with a broom and he'll still make it entertaining, get the crowd involved, So, yeah. 1 category to Bryan, 0 to Punk. Now, pal, are you ready for the next category?
Absolutely.
Promos.
Can I take this one?
Take it away.
So this is kind of similar to the other category, but in Punk's favor. Punk is on a short list of all-time great promos in the history of wrestling. You talk about all-time great promos, you're talking about The Rock, Ric Flair, John Cena, Austin, Paul Heyman. CM Punk's right there in that upper echelon of the top all-time guys. I almost said Chris Jericho, but his work recently has left a little bit to be desired.
There were no masks at his concerts in 2020, 2021, so whatever.
Yeah. And again, I would say, like, if we're doing this out of 10, Punk is a 10 out of 10 in promos. And Daniel Bryan's like a 7. Daniel Bryan did some great promo work with the Planet's Champion. And he could cut a hell of a good babyface promo when he wants to. And he could cut a really good, passionate, fiery promo. Like, he's not bad on the mic. He's overall a really good performer, at every aspect of pro wrestling. Like, these two are all-time greats we're talking about here. Daniel Bryan's no slouch on the mic, but CM Punk, I mean, the pipe bomb alone, that's like maybe the greatest promo ever in the history of pro wrestling. One of at least the most influential, the most mimicked promo. We've seen that everybody's done their version of a pipe bomb now. MJF's done like how many? Like 7 of them in AEW. He's like, "Oh, you're a money mark, Tony. I'm going to talk to Paul, pal. I'm gonna go hit up my buddy Paul." Like, everybody copies that pipe bomb, bro. And just there's so many others, like the one he said to The Rock, where he's like, "Oh, your arms aren't long enough to box with God, pal." Punk's just the best on the mic, one of the best, and it's really this is his category.
Yeah, but in fairness, like, if we did this category 10 years ago, or even like 8 years ago, I'd be like, Punk is like a 10 out of 10 on the mic. Bryan's like a 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like, I Bryan, especially when he was doing the run into WrestleMania 30, and he was the little B+ player, pal, standing up to the authority. I thought his promos were terrible.
Yeah.
Like, I was not invested in that because, obviously with him, it was like he was over because of a chant, essentially. And so with him, his promos were like, "Triple H, I'm going to take you down at WrestleMania." And then it was like, okay. But then, as the time went on, you mentioned the Planet's Champion there. That was like, oh, okay. That was a real opportunity. That was a real breakout for him. And I think him being like a SmackDown general manager, like an authority figure on screen, helped with his how comfortable he was talking and all that sort of thing, because he was clearly obviously very natural, very comfortable wrestler in the ring. But it took, that on-screen role when he had the neck injury for like a year and a half for him to really start to turn the gears on what he could do on the mic. So
can I say this? He was a lot better than Shane McMahon. But Shane would come out and like, we're gonna have a match in front of these fans in Sacramento.
Yeah, he's on Kurt Angle. It's true. It's true.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
remember the thing Kurt Angle had that one segment with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens where he's like, "Oh, you want to be traded to Raw? Raw trade to SmackDown? How about I trade you to TNA?"
Yeah,
Everyone's like,
TNA's
"What?
hiring, pal.
TNA?" That was great. Anyway, the Forbidden Door, pal. Anyway, yeah, so Bryan Danielson, yeah, Players Champion, he really comes out of his shell, cuts great promos. His stuff in 2020, 2021, 2022. We'll get to a bit more later when it comes to entrance and whatever, but like when it comes to that era of Bryan Danielson or Daniel Bryan, when his promos, like I don't know. It didn't click with me when he cut the Starbucks barista promo where he's just standing in the ring and he's just talking. And he's like, I'm going to be in the main event of WrestleMania 37. We'll get to that. But yeah, some of the stuff in AEW is actually quite good. His promos against MJF and the build to their match at Revolution 2023, I believe their Iron Man match, those promos are really good. I think MJF brought the best out of him in a more recent sense for promos. So yeah, Bryan's a solid mic guy. He's had some good stuff. He's had some bad stuff over the years. Punk's just one of the all-time greats. So when we're looking at a category here, Punk clearly, objectively takes this, pal.
Yeah, I mean it's tough to argue. So you want me to do the next one?
I love you. Take away entrance,
right.
pal.
Yes, entrances. This is interesting. What?
What do you mean this is interesting? This isn't even a debate.
What? Who is it then? Who is it then?
So clearly CM Punk.
Oh, come on. No, come on. No, this is close.
How are you going to consider
Bryan
Danielson? How do you remember his WrestleMania 37 entrance?
This is neck and neck. Come on. The final countdown entrance. The final countdown entrance at AEW is awesome. For one, the yes entrance is iconic. It is. It's iconic. I know you're not a fan of it, but it's iconic. That doesn't mean it's not iconic. If we're being objective here, pal. We were just getting on Meltzer and Alvarez for being objective, pal.
I'm being objective, pal.
The yes entrance is unbelievable, spectacular. And yeah, Punk's entrance is really good too, with the Cult of Personality playing. It's clobbering time, pal. Everybody sings his music, pal. Because that's what we do now. We sing wrestlers' theme songs.
Pal, I'm just going to say on this, and yeah, maybe my opinions on this are scarred, but I'm remember this vividly. I'm seeing that. I mean, you're in the building for this. WrestleMania 37.
Yes.
Edge comes out.
Yep.
It's a rock star.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh my God, you got the smoke, metal, you got rock music playing. This Hall of Fame is running out there on this. Like he's pumping up the crowd. Everyone's roaring.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns comes out.
Yep.
Yeah, at that time, it was
phones out.
I know, everyone's on the phones. Everyone's recording. Oh my God. Yeah. Brian's music, he just walks out. No, nothing. He just walked out. That was his entrance. I'm like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, but everybody's going, yes.
How I got crucified on Twitter at the time. Oh my God, it's not all about the entrance. It's about how good he is in the ring. I was like, no, it's WrestleMania. He needs a good entrance, a big entrance. It was ridiculous. But that was just WrestleMania 37. That was an isolated incident. Elsewhere, we look at Bryan Danielson. I think his entrances, in objective fairness, he's had some quite good ones. I think when his theme music is, I guess, let's say some of the ones they used in AEW and they've used in ROH, I think it can be quite good, pal. But yeah, I have to give this to Punk. I just do, pal. I think of the Money in the Bank 2011 entrance. The arena is shaking for CM Punk. I even think of WrestleMania 29. He's getting played to the ring. I thought that was quite good. I think of Punk's entrances, Survivor Series 2023, pal. His music hits. Oh my God, his first dance entrance, pal. At AEW, the first dance in Chicago, pal.
Grown men crying,
quivering. CM Punk jumps in the crowd, tears his ACL, pal.
Oh my God.
I think of those Punk entrances. Jesus. I think of the Punk entrance from the match against MJF, the dog collar match, pal. It's like a retro throwback entrance.
Yeah, that was
Punk
awesome.
Clears this category. Daniel Bryan, his entrances are horrible. They're horrible. No, they're okay. Punk takes this category, pal. Punk 2, Bryan 1, objectively.
Wow. I don't even get a vote here, pal. Interesting. No, I gotta give it to Punk 2 for sure. But I'm not gonna let you slander Daniel Bryan and say this is an outright just wash by Punk. But yeah, Punk's entrance is awesome. It's ever since he got Cult of Personality as his song, and that whole he blew up as a star. His entrance has been great, and it was one of the most the most must see entrances, and still is one of the most must see entrances. Whenever he does grace us with his presence again for a 1-on-1 match, pal, with Drew McIntyre, that entrance at SummerSlam is going to be spectacular. I can't wait for it. And yeah, all right. So you want to go? You want me to introduce this one?
Pal, I'd love you to. Introduce us to the next category, pal.
All right, so this one is WrestleMania. And yeah, I don't see how this one could even be debated. It's Bryan Danielson. Not even close, pal. Not even close. This is Daniel Bryan's category. He's main evented 2 WrestleManias, which Punk has 0, as we all know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's had an all-time great WrestleMania match, his 1-on-1 match with Triple H at WrestleMania 30. One of the best opening matches in the history of WrestleMania. Top 3, top 4. Right up there with Bret and Owen and Eddie and Ray. And there's another one that I'm missing, but I digress. It's a
Bret
top.
And Owen? No, you said Bret and Owen.
Yeah, Bret and Owen. Yeah, it's an all-time great WrestleMania opening match. And yeah, I mean, he has, yeah, like I said, all-time great WrestleMania match. 2 main events that were awesome. One of the greatest main events at WrestleMania 30. One of the greatest main events ever. The culmination of the Yes movement, an absolutely iconic moment. We got the Miracle on Bourbon Street, and an iconic call from Michael Cole there, pal. So yeah, so that, I mean, one of the biggest WrestleManias of all time. Main evented that. He main evented it and had a great all-time great 1-on-1 match on the same WrestleMania. And outside of those 2 WrestleManias, what has he done? Let's see. WrestleMania 28, lost in like 10 seconds to Sheamus. My dad was like, why did I spend $60 on this show? WrestleMania 31 had a really good Intercontinental title match. Mm-hmm. Yep. Participated in a really great match. I believe he won the title, if my memory serves me correctly.
Match, pal, which, interesting decision. Bryan Danielson coming off a nearly career-ending neck surgery, neck injury, where he would lose feeling in his arms.
Yeah.
Put him in a ladder match at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Nonetheless.
Yeah, that was interesting. WrestleMania 35, he was the bad guy, the heel, and helped give birth to a awesome moment, Kofi Mania. And yeah, I mean, I think I made my case for Bryan, and I'd love to hear if you have a rebuttal to that.
Yeah, Bryan Danielson's had the better WrestleMania career than CM Punk has. Punk's won Money in the Bank a couple times. He wrestled Randy Orton, pal, at WrestleMania 27, the forgotten WrestleMania, because how horrible it was. But pal, Punk faced Chris Jericho, pal, in a storyline about Punk's drunk family, and CM Punk has to do a field sobriety test on Monday Night Raw, pal. Can Punk do the alphabet backwards, pal? Can Punk walk a straight line, pal? Chris Jericho is taunting. Yeah, not great. And yeah, Punk's WrestleMania 29 match against The Undertaker, where Punk viewed wrestling The Undertaker as an insult at WrestleMania, which is pretty nuts. That's really all Punk's done at WrestleMania. In fairness, Bryan's done all the things you name. Bryan takes this category clearly. I'm not going to even try and counter or argue otherwise.
I just want to throw out there, Punk only won the first Money in the Bank because Jeff Hardy couldn't put the needle down, pal. So if Jeff Hardy had not gotten suspended, Jeff Hardy would have won the Money in the Bank.
Okay, hold on. And Bryan Danielson was only in the WrestleMania 37 main event because he was on the creative team. What are you trying to say?
What do you mean?
What's that supposed to mean?
No, he did not political chess his way, pal. Pal, we're going to talk about it.
Do you want the creative team,
do you want me to do this now? Do you want me to bury Edge now? Do you want me to bury Edge now? Okay, so this is what happened in real life, right? This is actually what happened. I was there. I know this is what happened, okay? Vince McMahon sitting in his office. Knock on the door. Boom, 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 boom. Roman Reigns walks in. And he's like, hey, Vince, I know you want me to wrestle Edge. You know, I get it. He won the Royal Rumble. He's a big star from like 12 years ago. Cool. Look, he's 50 years old. He has a broken neck. We can't have a one-on-one match, bro. We need somebody in there that can help make this match a WrestleMania-worthy WrestleMania main event, right? So Vince is like, all right, we're going to put Bryan Danielson in there. You know, Vince is like, you're right. Edge he's a good hand. Sells some merchandise, pal. So people know who he is. But he can't have a one-on-one match, pal. He can't have a 40-minute classic barn burner of a one-on-one match. He's just not that guy anymore. He lost a step, you know. So we got to put Bryan Danielson in there to give the match some oomph, to add some quickness and speed and athleticism to the match. So boom. Vince's lack of faith in Edge carrying a main event. And we've seen this now. Hold on. Let me finish. Vince was right about Edge not having aura. Vince and Roman were right because Edge goes to AEW and within 5 minutes, he lost all of his aura that he spent 20 years building up to become a first ballot Hall of Famer and a legend. You're laughing because you know I'm right. He lost all of his aura. So Vince and Roman were right. We needed Bryan Danielson to add something to that match. It would have sucked if it had been one-on-one Roman and Edge. That would have been a flat, horrible WrestleMania main event.
Pal, can I just refute what you said? Not the point about Edge's aura in 2023, 2024. That's objective. Adam Copeland's lost all his aura in AEW. Negative 10,000 aura, pal. We look at WrestleMania 37. What you just said there is egregious, blasphemous, and disgusting. Adam Copeland, Edge, came back in 2020. He worked, one or two matches against Randy Orton that were nearly 40 minutes long. They were both pretty good. And then
one was a weapons match.
Sorry,
it was a backstage brawl.
Let me finish. Excuse me. 2021 Royal Rumble. He's in there from like number one. He's in there for an hour. So the whole thing, Edge couldn't go longer than the 20 minutes required needed for WrestleMania 37 main event. That's BS. And they did the match of Money in the Bank 2 months later anyway.
And it wasn't
that
that good.
Clearly not the issue. That main event is the second biggest show of the year that year, Money in the Bank.
It wasn't that good.
It wasn't a big issue there. Bryan Danielson was on the creative team. He was a creative advisor, Kevin.
Yeah, an
advisor. He was a creative advisor at the time. He inserts himself into the WrestleMania main event. That political chess move was almost as bad as what Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson did in 2024.
Almost as bad as that. Yes,
as bad. Was as political. He inserted himself in the match.
It didn't cause any uproar, like The Rock being inserting himself into WrestleMania 40. It didn't cause any uproar.
Bryan Danielson, he has this reputation that he's doing it for the good of wrestling. No, he's not. That was a political chess power play.
Pal, Vince McMahon fired his own son for making stupid booking decisions. You think he wouldn't have fired Bryan Danielson if he tried to book himself as an advisor? Pal, he's an advisor. How could he book himself into a match if he's just an advisor?
You're comparing Bryan Danielson to Vince McMahon. How dare you? Pal, this was an egregious political chess power play. Did it make the WrestleMania 37 main event better?
A lot better than it would have been. It was a lot better.
Not what I'm arguing here, Kevin. I'm arguing there was an egregious political chess power play.
It was not. It was not.
If Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson does it, he gets crucified. Hulk Hogan does it, he gets crucified. Bryan Danielson inserts himself. That's empowering because he has awards in a newsletter.
He did not insert himself. Edge probably wanted Danielson in the match because even Edge knows that he couldn't deliver the same quality of main event that he did at WrestleMania 24 in 2008 in Orlando. In 2021, pal. Edge knows that he couldn't deliver that same quality of match, so he wanted Danielson in there.
Do you know how I know it was blatant that Bryan inserted himself?
How?
You watch the storyline on screen, and they had nothing to justify Bryan Danielson being in the match. It was like, Adam Copeland, 10 years, I'm going to try and win the world title 10 years after I retire. Roman Reigns trying to prove himself as the tribal chief. Bryan Danielson was in the match because I'm Bryan Danielson, pal. That was literally why he was in the match. It was blatant.
You're getting cooked right now, pal. You're getting cooked. Pal.
What?
Getting cooked. All right, so either way, back to the category.
Yep.
Daniel Bryan clears. It's 2-2. We're tied up, pal.
Yep.
We're tied up.
Yeah, we're 2-2, and you've lost the debate there about.
No, I won that debate clearly. Even you know that Edge couldn't maintain an aura for a WrestleMania main event, pal. For a one-on-one main event. It would have been bored. People would have been bored. People would have been leaving. People would have been leaving. Just like they left for the night before for that main event for Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks. People would have been leaving.
You're kidding me. You have got to be kidding me, pal. Roman Reigns and Edge in that stage of 2020, that was the match to do. And you're making it seem like this was Roman Reigns versus Big E.
The match would have been boring. It would have been boring.
Oh my god, pal! Your opinion is about to be disqualified in my book. All
right, let's go. Let's move to the next category. Yes.
Next category. Let's move in character. Okay, character. Now, Bryan's had a few. Okay, there was sort of the Yes Movement era of Daniel Bryan. There was the Bryan before that, who was the American Dragon, pal, and he came to WWE, and his gimmick was he was a 5'5" guy with a beard who was running away from Mark Henry in the Big Show. Then he got bro kicked by Sheamus, but after that, it was the Yes Movement, pal. Then he has he's the on-screen pal. He's the on-screen authority figure. He's then the Planet's champion, pal. He's with Redbeard Rowan, pal. Then He's just inserting himself into WrestleMania main events. Then he goes to AEW, pal. He's the all-conquering wrestling legend, facing Omega, facing everyone else. That's Bryan Danielson. CM Punk, his character, pal, Punk's character was so good. He could cut the most influential pipe bomb in wrestling, the pipe bomb, off the back of his character. Off the back of the fact that he was the best wrestler in the world, pal. He was the best on the microphone, in the ring, pal. Even a commentary. Before that, pal, the Straight Edge Society. He turned Doc Gallows, Festus, into a must-see on-screen persona, pal. Shaving heads, pal.
Stop.
That's how great he was.
Stop.
He's cutting promos in WWE's version of ECW. The most must-see promos in that respin before it got taken out of business.
Oh my god!
The most must-see thing.
Hold on.
I'm not done. I'm not finished. 2011.
As someone who lived this time frame you're speaking of, you're wrong. I lived through that time frame when WWE ECW was around and the Straight Edge Society was around. Festus was not must see. WWE ECW was not must see. CM Punk's promos on WWE ECW were not even close to must see, pal. I was watching every single week during all of those things.
Carry on.
No, go ahead. Finish up.
Yeah, okay. Pal, I've watched it back. They were must-see things. They were the best things going.
Stop.
What was better? What was better at that time? The Big Show winning the ECW World Championship? Was that better, Kevin?
That was terrible.
Exactly. It was the best thing going in ECW at the time. Pal, Straight Edge Savior. He saved Sabrina, pal. He saved Festus. He made that one of the more must-see things in 2009. The storyline with Jeff Hardy. Need I say more? The must-see storyline with Jeff Hardy. Kevin, are you discrediting the Jeff Hardy storyline? Jeff Hardy's one of your heroes growing up. You idolized this man in your childhood. Punk had an amazing storyline. Arguably the best storyline in Jeff Hardy's career, or one of them, pal.
Wow.
Because Jeff Hardy's best storyline was hardly the storyline versus Sting in the lead up to Victory Road, was it, pal?
Oh my god. Okay. All right.
And then, pal, CM Punk 2011 pipe bomb. Best thing going. He's cutting promos on The Rock, on Cena. He's doing all these great storyline feuds. His character is just really fleshing out as the best thing going. 2014, he storms into Vince McMahon's office. F you, I quit. He's gone for 7 years, pal. He comes back. His character is the beacon of hope in AEW and All Elite Wrestling. In a sea of clowns. Bill Brooks, his character is that he is the all-conquering hero. Tony Khan gives him his own show after CM Punk, Phil Brooks hijacks the All Out 2022 media scrum. Kevin, CM Punk then comes back, and his character at the moment is he's feuding with Drew McIntyre, pal. And he's standing up for himself, pal. Punk is one of the all-time great characters. He is of a great body of work. Bryan Danielson's character for a number of years was he couldn't cut promos, he had a beard, and that he was Bryan, pal.
Oh my god. All right. So CM Punk's character is that he's CM Punk. That's been his character since 2011. I'm CM Punk, pal. I'm the best in the world. All right. Yep. Jericho was that, and so was Bret Hart. So, yeah. Daniel Bryan, I think, has this category. Yeah, I'm gonna state my case for this. I think Daniel Bryan personally has this. Daniel Bryan as an on-screen television character. Now, a lot of the things you were saying about Punk, I think that goes into the mainstream appeal superstar category, I would say. We're talking just characters, playing a character. What is CM Punk's character that he plays on TV?
The best in the world, pal. That's what he plays, pal. He is Philip Jack Brooks, the best in the world.
It's kind of like it's just to add for a discussion's sake. If we're debating John Cena and Hulk Hogan, right? John Cena's character is that he's John Cena. Hustle, loyalty, respect, C Nation. Hulk Hogan's character is that he's Hulk Hogan, pal. This fictional superhero conquering man. Okay, eat your vitamins, say your prayers, pal. You know, John Cena's just John Cena. And then Hulk Hogan has the NWO Hollywood Hogan. That's a character, pal. John Cena's just John Cena.
Cena's had the Doctor of Thugonomics, excuse me?
Yeah, for like a year and a half. Like a year and a half.
So now a year and a half just didn't happen. Now, these arguments you have, You're ignoring history and say, "Oh well, no, you can't say that," because Bryan came out with a belt made of wood and said, "I'm the planet's champion. You're not vegan."
Yeah,
I guess he's a better character worker than Phil Brooks.
Brian's Planet Champion character. Yes Movement Daniel Bryan. Team Hell No. That was an objectively better character.
Fair.
Team Hell No is an interesting television character with Dr. What was his name?
Dr.
Misby, Roseby.
Dr. Shelby.
Dr. Shelby. Dr. Shelby. Yeah, that was an objectively good character.
Yeah, that was mostly Kane doing the good work.
Oh, come on. And now, Bryan Danielson, to be fair, his character in AEW is, he's Bryan Danielson. Oh, he's a great wrestler. Oh, he's on the committee team. So right now, at this stage in their career, these guys are just being themselves and just like, yeah, I'm CM Punk. I'm Danny Bryan, pal. Here I am. Enjoy me. I think throughout their careers, I think Bryan Danielson has played better on-screen characters. So I'm going to leave it at that.
You reckon the straight edge society with Punk and that doesn't count?
Team Hell No. Team Hell No is better. Team Hell No and the Planet Champion were way better than the Straight Edge Society. Hell No,
Kane did all the work. I lived that.
I lived through the Straight Edge Society. It was a good character, but it was not that great. It was not an all-time great character. The Planet Champion was way better. The Planet Champion gave birth to Kofi Mania. All right, pal. One of the greatest moments in the wrestling history. Team Hell No made Daniel Bryan into a star. Team Hell No is what started the rise of Daniel Bryan. So
who do we give this category to? Because I'm not giving this to Bryan.
I'm giving it to Bryan. I'm giving it to Bryan.
I'm giving this to Punk. I'm not agreeing with you. So
I don't agree with you either. So
okay, pal. Let's transition storylines.
Oh, this is I mean, you got to give this one to Punk. I think you got to give this to Punk off rip, just off the Money in the Bank 2011 storyline alone.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't really think we need to say much more. Has Daniel Bryan been involved in a storyline that was that great? Like, you could argue the Yes Movement. Yeah, people will argue that. But it wasn't as great as the Money in the Bank 2011 storyline. That made CM Punk into an icon, But yeah, the Yes Movement was a great story, Maybe on the same echelon, but I would take the Money in the Bank 2011 storyline. That's just that paved the way and changed wrestling in so many ways. Whereas the Daniel Bryan Yes Movement storyline, it kind of lives on its own. Doesn't really have like an influence of sort, You could argue that what they did with Cody was similar to the Yes Movement, and maybe they orchestrated that. Maybe The Rock's going to tell us in another documentary, hey, I actually came up with this idea. I knew that everybody would hate me and Roman, so I wanted to turn heel, pal. That was my idea. Who knows? Maybe The Rock will take credit for orchestrating the whole thing at WrestleMania 40. So, I don't know. It's an interesting debate.
Is CM Punk's storyline with Drew McIntyre and how great it's been, how personal it's been, how gripped you are to see it week to week for now, most of 2024, is CM Punk's storyline with Drew McIntyre better than any storyline Bryan Danielson's been involved in as a storyline? Because people will point to, the WrestleMania 30 moment, pal, Yes Movement. And people will point to, WrestleMania 35, pal, Kofi Mania. And Bryan played his role in that, sure. But I'd argue the Punk McIntyre thing, as a pure storyline, we want to see one wrestler take on the other wrestler and vice versa.
Well, let's objectively break down the WrestleMania 30 storyline.
Mm-hmm.
It starts at SummerSlam. Daniel Bryan wins the title from Cena. Triple H has Randy Orton cash in on Bryan right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then Bryan beats Orton for like 3 pay-per-views straight, but doesn't win the title.
Which kills the storyline. Can I just say that right there? So we all know, okay, Bryan's just better than Orton. So what's the point now? What is this?
Exactly. So then we get, Daniel Bryan joins the Wyatt family for like a week, fakes it. Then we get one of the craziest Raw endings ever.
Mm-hmm.
And then CM Punk walks out of WWE. So then they pivot. They finally embrace Daniel Bryan. And we get Daniel Bryan hijacking Raw with like planted fans in the ring. And Triple H is like, I'll fight you. And yeah, that's basically the Yes Movement storyline in a nutshell.
The moment was fantastic, obviously. But as a storyline, it's like a lot of it, it wasn't even meant to happen to begin with. And WWE made a hash of the whole thing, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. The moment was fantastic, obviously. And what did that lead to afterwards? Bryan had a match against Kane, the Extreme Rules, and forfeited the title because of his neck injury. So, yeah. And then Kofi Mania led to Kofi Kingston, where it had the great moment. and the storyline was good with Bryan as the antagonist and Kofi was the up and coming, like he was overcoming the obstacles, pal. He fought through all that was good, but Punk and McIntyre hits different, pal. So in that regard, Punk's storyline, McIntyre alone is proof Punk clears this category. Punk is better than Bryan Danielson, and this is just one example of why.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I digress. So I'll say this before we move on. Yeah, maybe the WrestleMania 30, the Yes Movement storyline is a little bit more influential than I gave it credit for. Kofi Mania came about, and we did have a point in time where people on the internet did try to recreate this storyline with every single wrestler under the sun. Oh, give us Nakamura Mania, pal. Give us we want Ali. Ali's hot, pal. Ali Mania. There was another one. Cesaro. We want Cesaro. So I guess it is pretty influential. But yeah, but just as a structured storyline, Punk has been involved in better storylines.
Yeah.
Like just his storylines in AEW with like MJF and Hangman, they were all great. So yeah. I have it at 3-3, pal. It should be 3-3 for you.
I Punk up 4-2.
You should have. It should be tied.
No, it shouldn't be.
Brian has a better character, pal. Brian has a better character.
And pal, it's about to be 5-2. Next category, charisma. Okay, charisma sort of ties in a bit to promos, but how you carry yourself. It's swagger. It's machismo. It's aura. Okay. Charisma encompasses all of that. It's
everything you were saying about Punk when you were talking about character. Everything you were talking about is charisma based.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Brian has character, pal.
Is everything Brian occasionally in his career will show a little bit of? And you go, oh, Brian's ready for this match against MJF at Revolution. Oh,
occasionally, Brian has charisma. Are you kidding me? How could you say he occasionally shows it? Brian has natural charisma. Brian's one of the biggest stars of the PG era of the last decade in wrestling, bro. Are you telling me he does not have charisma?
I want to wrestle you over here. I'll wrestle you over there. I'll wrestle you anywhere. Yes.
Bryan Danielson has charisma and has aura. This is blasphemous discredit, pal. Your argument is falling apart in front of our viewers' very eyes.
In 2020, what was Daniel Bryan doing in 2020?
I don't remember.
Exactly.
What was CM Punk doing in 2020?
Oh, I don't know, preserving his image. Not wrestling during COVID, pal. Not working.
Daniel Bryan's image. Bryan Danielson's image is just fine.
Bryan was jobbing to Cesaro, pal.
His image is just fine. He's one of, if not the biggest star in AEW right now.
Yeah, but look, this encompasses everything. This debate, you can't just take out parts of people's careers. He's still a big star. You act like his 2020 run ruined his stardom. I didn't say that. I just asked you what was he doing in 2020. You're taking that out of context.
No, I'm not at all.
Ridiculous. All right, pal. But yeah, charisma is clearly Punk. Do you defend Daniel Bryan and charisma at all? Or
yes, I do. Yes, this category? I do. I definitely defend Bryan in this. Are you kidding me? The WrestleMania 30, the Yes Movement. He became a big baby face, bro.
Having fun in arenas doing this is Bryan's charisma.
For him, it added to his aura when he came out. He had an entrance, and he's still a big star. He still has aura. Like I said, biggest star in AEW right now. The Planet's champion. Yes Movement. The guy has charisma in bunches. The guy's a big star. How can you say he doesn't have charisma?
Because when I see him at WrestleMania 37, his entrance, as I said earlier, Roman, big alpha, people with the phones out, Edge, Rockstar, on this, he's roaring, the crowd's up there. Bryan walks out.
And everybody was happy to see him. Everybody was going crazy for him. Everybody was going crazy for him. The crowd was going wild. I was there. Everybody's chanting yes for him. They're going wild for him.
And he just walks. That's not charisma.
Yes, it is.
The crowd.
Yes, it is.
The crowd likes chanting.
It is charisma. Steve Austin just walked down to the ring.
No, the glass was shattering.
Steve Austin did a walk. Steve Austin did a walk to the ring, pal.
Drinking beers. What?
Randy Orton walks to the ring slow as hell. And Randy Orton has charisma.
That's Randy Orton's bit, pal. They sing his theme song. That's Randy Orton's thing.
Yeah, they chant for Daniel Bryan when his music hits.
No.
They sing his music in AEW. This is ridiculous. This is one-sided. You're being like Meltzer and Alvarez, pal. You're being biased. You're using points when it's in your benefit, and then when they're not in your benefit, you use the same points to make another point against me, pal. You've lost credibility with me and the viewers, pal. Daniel Bryan has this category. Daniel Bryan's up 4-3.
What?
Daniel Bryan's up
no,
4-3.
now you're taking
Daniel
the
Bryan's
piss.
up
I'm
4-3.
sorry. Punk's up 5-2.
Daniel Bryan's up 4-3.
What are you talking
Bryan
about?
is up 4-3. Bryan has this in the bag, pal. Mainstream appeal goes to CM Punk, so it's tied 4-4.
Were you drinking before we started this?
Were you drinking?
Pal, it's 5:30 a.m. I just woke up. Are you kidding me? Pal, you just ruined this whole debate.
You ruined this whole debate.
Pal, there's a lack of authenticity in your nomination.
You're biased, pal. You're biased.
And now, pal, mainstream appeal.
Yeah, this is clearly Punk. Clearly.
Oh, you're going to try and argue it's Bryan to be different?
He's been in UFC, pal. He's been out in Joe Rogan. He's had Joe Rogan talk about him. He's in movies, TV shows. It's Punk.
Oh, but pal, Bryan had a yes chant. That's what you're arguing. That's the sort of argument.
I'm saying Punk has this. I'm giving this to your boy Punk. I'm giving this. It's a tie, pal. 4-4.
Yeah, so Punk 6, Bryan 2.
This is unbelievable. This is ridiculous. If it was that far apart, you wouldn't have had Daniel Bryan over Punk all time in our top 50.
Oh, sorry, very different. I'm sorry, very different. Punk, as we say, missed 7 years, pal, or missed 10 years if you only watch WWE. That's why his ranking was a bit low. That's why he was below Vince McMahon all time. Pal.
Yeah, you see this? You see this? You're putting your own foot in your mouth, pal. How could you say Daniel Bryan is over CM Punk all time and have Punk sweep him in a debate against him? Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. Then why isn't he all time? Then why is he above Bryan all time?
Longevity, pal. That was the thing.
Yeah, exactly. You got nothing, pal. You got nothing.
Well, I just gave you something. You said I got nothing. As I gave you something.
Bryan is a better wrestler.
Are you kidding me?
Bryan's a better wrestler, better character. He's had a better WrestleMania career.
Better character. Hold on.
And he has more natural charisma.
We agree on the matches. We don't agree on the better character. You said Bryan wins charisma. I don't know what Bryan you're watching. We're not watching Scott Hall. We're watching Daniel Bryan. Are you kidding me?
He's more charismatic than Punk.
Than Punk?
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue with stupid. That argument is stupid.
So why isn't Punk all time better than Bryan? If he's more charismatic and better this, and better at this, better at that.
Ago. The list was from 9 months ago, pal. Things have changed.
So we're
clearly better than Bryan Danielson. Need I say more, pal? Punk 6-2.
This is fake news, pal. Bryan got this 4-2.
Fake news, pal. You're the one.
This
you're
is tied.
debating me like
this
you're Donald Trump, pal.
It's 4-4.
Pal, you're using Donald Trump debate tactics to try and smear the viewers. I'm not listening to this, pal.
Oh my god.
Pal, your tactics have been horrible. Okay, people are losing their common sense listening to you.
All right, so let's review this. So matches, Bryan. Promos, Punk. Entrance, Bryan. No, it was an entrance, Punk. No.
Entrance.
Entrance, Punk.
What?
Wait, I don't forget what it was. Entrance, Punk. Character, Bryan.
Punk.
No, objectively Bryan. WrestleMania, Bryan.
Yeah, I agree.
Storylines, Punk. Charisma. You want to give it to Punk? Fine.
What sort of answer? Yeah.
I'll concede. I'll give charisma to Punk. I'll concede there, pal.
Yeah.
So I'll give that to Punk. Mainstream appeal, obviously Punk.
Yep.
So
that's almost a clean sweep. Like Bryan wins 2 categories.
No, Bryan won 3, pal. Bryan won 3.
Pal. It's a cute effort, but in the end, Pepsi failed.
And Bryan's categories are more important.
Okay.
Matches, WrestleMania, and character.
Mainstream appeal. Mainstream appeal or matches.
More important. Matches are more important. This is
more
wrestling.
To who,
this is wrestling. This is wrestling. This is not mainstream appeal. It's not called mainstream appeal entertainment, pal. It's called World Wrestling Entertainment.
That might be the dumbest thing I've ever heard you say. So, pal, I guess CMLL and All Japan are better than WWE then. Because they're not about mainstream appeal, they're about matches. That's the worst thing you've ever said on this podcast.
Come on.
Pal, you've lost this debate because you said that. You've just lost the debate.
Pal, your debate, you lost this debate the moment you gave character to CM Punk. CM Punk has no character. His character is that he's CM Punk.
Punk has no character, but Bryan Danielson I don't want to be in the ring over there. I don't want to be in the ring over here. I don't want to be in the ring anywhere. Guys, yes, yes, yes. Pal, Bryan Danielson's character is he's on the disciplinary committee and he fired Phil Brooks in AEW. That's Bryan's character. What are you saying, Kevin?
Oh my god.
Terrible. All right, let's go around the world, pal. Let's go around.